Hey everybody, welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm Joe Prasko, one of your hosts, and with me as always is...
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
Hey Khalid.
Hey Joe.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. I'm great, man. Had a little bit of a cold the last few days, but I'm getting on the other end of it and just making sure I'm microphone ready now. I hope I don't sound too phlegmy or anything.
Sound great, as always. You sound great.
Thank you. How's it going with you?
Oh, good, Khalid. I like October. October's spooky season, and, I don't know, our podcast kind of goes with that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, this really is your time to shine. It's a celebration of fandom and especially with horror and obscure references and stuff like that. I feel like it's really up your alley. So I hope you're making the most of it.
I always do. Yeah. It used to be back in the day, I don't know, a couple of years ago before I started a podcast, I guess. It used to be the kind of only time throughout the year I could really get away with doing horror movies for movie nights in our house.
Right.
Yeah, and now it's all the time, I guess,
year
because
round.
of the podcast, but
yeah,
it's still a little bit special. It's still special. We're doing it's it's a spookier season to watch horror movies.
But no, yeah, no, I've indulged a little too. It feels right, and it's been fun. Just watching a few more extra. It feels like extra credit, I guess, for me. Just yeah. I'm not doing it just because the podcast asks me to.
It's also fun because other people are doing it too, so you're not the weird one.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm going with the flow. I'm with the mainstream on this one.
Exactly. But it's been fun to do some fun Halloween activities. I mentioned this on a previous podcast. I always love Minnesota in the fall, when the leaves are falling and the colors are all pretty, but I like the vibe of this time, October, with leaves on the ground and the pumpkins are coming out and stuff. So we got pumpkins, of course. The kids got to carve pumpkins. They loved it. Got some fun ones. Halloween kind of activities. Got the, the apple cider, of course, all that deal.
Yeah.
Just get in the spirit. I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Pumpkin spice is back, baby.
Yeah. I love pumpkin spice. I like pumpkin spice beer a lot, I've realized.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was I don't know, I didn't think about it until a little ways into October, and I was just getting regular beers at the liquor store, and I'm like, oh damn, there's pumpkin flavored beers, and I tried that. And I'm like, I like this. This is the time of the year that's perfect for the barrel aged whiskey tinted heavy beers. But so I get some of those and pumpkin beers, and you're set for October. Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you have a space to just comfortably out yourself as a pumpkin spice lover.
Oh, I absolutely am. Yeah, pumpkin spice is the shit. Well,
you know what, man? Let your freak flag fly. You enjoy your PSBs wherever, whenever.
PSBs. What's beer? Also, I mean, the lattes are good PSLs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do caffeine and I don't really drink, so I don't know. I can't speak to either. I'm only going off your word. For all I know, it's the most garbage thing ever, but I trust you. So yeah, let's go. Yeah. PSBs.
Yeah, you don't. It's true. You don't drink. You don't do. I forgot. Yeah, our listeners might not know, Khalid, that you're actually Amish.
Yeah. I'm just getting back from a barn raising, and boy, are my arms tired.
I was just giggling for a second because you're going with the bit, but then I laughed more at the arms tired joke. That was pretty good. It was nice. Speaking of jokes, Khalid.
Yeah, speaking of. Oh, God damn it.
What do you call a sleeping werewolf?
What do you call them? I don't know.
An unaware wolf.
Ew.
I thought you liked that one.
No, that was unfortunate. That's really the best word for it.
Oh, you're playing with it because it's unaware and unfortunate. No. You're playing off it. I see what you're doing. That was good, Khalid. I like that.
There's no play to be had there.
Yeah, and that's a segue to what we're talking about today.
It sure is, technically.
You love it.
Oh yeah, man. Can't get enough. Yeah, so today we are talking about the 2022 Marvel special event series. I don't know what we're calling it, but yeah, it's called Werewolf by Night. It was directed by Michael Giacchino. That's my air horns. And
Nice.
I've got a synopsis from our homeboy Google, and it goes a little something like this. On a dark and somber night, a secret cabal of monster hunters emerge from the shadows and gather at the Bloodstone Temple following the death of their leader. The attendees are thrust into a mysterious and deadly competition for a powerful relic. Mwahaha.
What a monster!
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Spooky.
Yeah, wanted to, it's like this is going to come out around Halloween in time or whatever, so
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. The laugh adds a lot.
thank you.
All right. So yeah, that's about that. What'd you think of it?
Bro, I loved it. I watched it twice in a week, which like, I mean, it's only 50 minutes, so like that's not like super impressive, but
Mm,
like it was one of those things where I was like excited at the thought that I get to watch it again just so I like have it fresher in my mind. It
yeah.
was, yeah, like we'll get into it, but so good just all the way through. Just the stylistic choices, the creature effects, which I'm so pumped to talk about. The casting was great, and I guess like more to the point of everything else, it still felt very Marvel without like feeling like the compulsion to remind you that the Marvel universe exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it was amazing, and I'm sure I'll gush about it some more. But I want to hear what your initial thoughts are.
Oh, I really liked it too. I was very excited when I heard this was coming out a long time ago. This is a whole lot of fun. Like as like I mean, we're both comic book fans and Marvel fans, and we're also monster fans. Like it's just a great intersection of things that we love. So I mean, I was pumped for it. And like the way that this kind of like draws influence from like classic monster things like the Hammer horror films, or like the Universal classic monster movies and that kind of stuff. Like it's super fun to see just like them playing around with like new styles, and something that does feel like wholly distinct and fresh. Like I feel like we keep getting the things where people are like, oh, this is a new look for Marvel, a very distinct Marvel thing. And I'm like, yeah, it is, like to some extent, but like arguably they all have the same feel. And you said this does have a feel, but I feel like it definitely is the most distinct feeling thing they've done yet.
It's the whole thing's amazing, and like I feel like this is basically like a cool, like it almost felt like a Marvel What If where like Peggy Carter and the Hulk had to like fight people. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
like it really just felt like this like cool offshoot of like characters that you might not normally see together that just get to just like kick ass. And I mean, I don't say that to say like I needed that like parallel to appreciate it. It's just that was the closest thing I could think of that would like work in just like a straight up Marvel production.
Right. Yeah. And no, that's a good way to put it. Like, it does kind of feel like an almost like a what if storyline, because it just feels so like the way it's shot, it feels so different than everything else. But um it's cool though, because it does really open the door for like just a whole new like area for Marvel to explore. Like we've got like the cosmic space stuff. We got magic, we've got science and technology, aliens, all that weird stuff, gods and like afterlife stuff. And now we finally get into this like kind of like macabre supernatural element. Like I know that was teased with Blade, of course, but like this is the first like where they're fully diving into that. And so it's kind of fun to see the door like fully opened on that.
Yeah, totally. And it feels like such a just like especially labeling it a special event, which I think was wise, or like at the very least, like putting kind of an asterisk to it of like they're not stylistically married to the decisions they made in this. It really was just for the purposes of this story, like making it feel like an old Hollywood like monster picture was the best choice, but they've given themselves the out of like they can still like play with the supernatural. They can play with like darker demonic like stories and characters and do it in a completely new way with like you mentioned Blade or any future productions they have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it was like a very like clever move on their part to just like let somebody take the keys to a Marvel production and just like make something that feels wholly its own. And it really just it paid off in dividends. Like this really feels like an installment in like yearly like required viewings for like Halloween fans if they wanna watch something that's just like fun and new.
For sure. And honestly, this kind of feels like I want to say, not to like get down on any of the Marvel productions, because I don't think we're those types of fans. Like, we've really enjoyed most of the stuff they put out, but like it feels like almost what was promised when they started trying to do the like Disney Plus shows. Like, in a sense, they were like, this seemed like a playground, like the shows, like an area to kind of do different kinds of stories that they weren't able to do in the movies. And as we pointed out before, like on the Moon Knight episode, like not a lot of the shows have really justified for the reason for being shows, other than just like where they could have been a movie, like
Mm-hmm.
this feels like finally them trying to do something that feels unique to like this format, like a special presentation, like a special event episode of something, rather than like, it's not a movie, it's not a TV series, it's kind of its own thing. And so it feels like they're finally delivering on that promise of doing something unique and different.
And it really just kind of points out like this obvious thing of like, for better or worse, when it comes to the blockbuster landscape, Disney and Marvel are at the top. I can't think of anything else that can come close to like what the MCU can say it's accomplished so far, whatever your feelings may be on it. So it gets to that point of like, when you're at the top, like, isn't the whole benefit that you can just make your own rules and do whatever? And this is an amazing example of what that could look like, now that you're not necessarily like beholden to any like conventional wisdom on the subject, because like you are a trailblazer now. You get whatever you do could be the new precedent.
Yeah, yeah,
Not to
absolutely.
credit them with like the idea of a special event series or
No.
whatever, but you know what I mean? Like, from where this thing spawned to like now, we just kind of get this like, for all intents and purposes, throwaway like fun pastiche of like old horror movies. And it all started with Edward Norton's Hulk. Like, that's just crazy to think,
Yeah, no, it's a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. um I dug into some of the history of some of the characters that we see in this. So, like, of course, the Werewolf by Night character, Jack Russell, is the main character we see here.
I'm
Do you
just
know?
realizing that's his name, which I'm so
Yeah,
mad at. That
I,
is,
I was gonna ask if you got that. Yeah, Jack Russell.
yeah, no,
The dog.
I'm trying not to like grind my teeth right now since
Yeah,
I'm being recorded, but
yeah.
that is lit a fire inside me that on a werewolf only sparked embers from.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, gotta ride those embers.
Oh God,
Um,
Jack Russell. All
Jack
right,
Russell.
moving
Yeah,
on.
I don't even think they fully say it. Do they say it?
No, of
Maybe
course
once.
they don't. If they do, it's insane, and my brain forced me to like shut it out.
Yeah, it's all right. So do you know where the character first appeared in the comics?
I do not.
Apparently in 1954. Before Marvel became Marvel, it was called Atlas Comics, and they
Mm.
published a 5-page short story called Werewolf by Night in what they called Marvel Tales number 116. Then when the Comics Code Authority like kind of loosened their rules in 1971, Marvel was now Marvel. They kind of came back to the concept and created the Jack Russell version of the Werewolf by Night in it's called Marvel Spotlight number 2, which was in February 1972. And it was actually based on an idea from Roy Thomas, who was kind of one of the like comic writers in Marvel, who came up with some of the like the more like that more horror side of things. And the name was suggested by Stan Lee, and the initial creative team was Jerry Conway and Mike Ploog. There was a second Werewolf of Night character after Jack Russell. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was in 2020 where that was created. And it was actually created by a team including Taboo of the Black Eyed Peas, which was an interesting fun fact. Yeah. Right?
That I was not expecting that to be what you said.
Yeah, right. It goes an interesting direction there. But
Taboo, doing your thing.
yeah. So there are two Werewolves by Night. I think that the one that we see in the movie is, or in the special, is supposed to be the Jack Russell version, I believe. I don't remember what the other one's name is, so I don't know.
So did you have like familiarity with the character or the storylines before you watched the movie?
Zero. Not
Okay.
well, not this one, but I guess I know we're in spoiler territory always with these stuff, but we didn't mention that the other big kind of breakout star of this is the Man-Thing, right?
The creature?
The Man-Thing. So the Man-Thing's actually a pretty prominent comic character, and I do have
Are we
history with
talking
that
about
one.
Ted? Just I
Yeah,
want to make sure.
Ted.
Okay.
Ted. Yep, Ted.
Did they call him the man thing in the?
Nope, but that's who it
Okay.
is. Yeah,
Got it. I
that's
just want to make sure I didn't miss that.
So so Man-Thing, that character, Ted, It was created by, of course, Stan Lee and Roy Thomas as well, and Jerry Conway. But that character first appeared in Savage Tales #1 in 1971, and went on to be featured in a lot of various titles and series in his own. But there wasn't. So this is how my experience with it. There was a live action Man-Thing movie in 2005, and it was going to go into the theaters, but they didn't do it because apparently it was not good. And I watched it probably back then when I was like 15, but it was a Sci-Fi Channel original. Yeah, and so they made this movie, and so the character is is actually, it's like a doctor, like Doctor, I don't know, Theodore something or other. I forget. Not off the top of my head. I'll remember later. But that's why they call him Ted. That's like based on a person. But yeah, it's Man-Thing is what the character is called in the
like
comics.
A science experiment gone wrong or something.
Something like that. So basically, yes, yeah, yeah, science experiment thing. Scientists. But the Man-Thing was referenced in the MCU before this. Clee, did you know that?
I very easily believe it. They reference something and everything.
Yeah, in an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode, Maria Hill says something about what is a Man-Thing.
Oh,
fun fact.
I can't believe I missed that.
I can't believe it either, man.
Wow. All right. Well, that's my bad, y'all.
Absolutely, you're bad. But yeah, that's a little history of those two characters. I mean, I'd say the other breakout is like the Bloodstone, Elsa Bloodstone character. She was great.
She's amazing. Yeah,
she was super cool.
Like, that's the thing is like Gael Garcia Bernal and Laura Donnelly, who played Jack Russell and Elsa Bloodstone respectively, they really do a good job of like carrying this movie equally, in that like when you're jumping between them, it's just like you're so invested in their journeys that at no point are you like, man, why'd they cut away from this? You know, like you're just as happy to like stick with one versus the other. And then obviously when they get together, like the chemistry in terms of like how well they play off each other is so good. And I mean, I know like with this time span and everything, like it would have been very convoluted to do it anyway, but I am glad they sidestepped any kind of like romantic attempt in their storyline, and
agreed.
just like, you know, like I feel like like so much of what I'm complimenting, like at its core, speaks to like how wise it was to just have this be like a 50-minute thing versus a feature length thing that they might feel compelled to like fall into some more like commonly complained upon points with like Marvel movies. You know, like I feel like they sidestepped a lot of that by just making this thing so concise and objective oriented, and it just moved so briskly. And again, like going back to my original point, like it's really just goes to how great Jack and Elsa are as characters to follow. For
sure. And I'd be criticized by our comics fans for not saying that Elsa is also a comics character. Elsa Bloodstone. She was debuted in 2001, I believe. But yeah, she's also the daughter of Ulysses Bloodstone, and Ulysses was a character in the comics in the 70s too, who was part of like the Legion of, I don't know, monster hunters. I forget what they're called too, but like.
So are they basically? Are they Marvel's version of the Constantines? Then is the idea?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Well, there's just a character that's like exactly her in the Sandman TV show and comics, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, it's just way too many comparisons, I guess.
It's probably true. I mean, Marvel and DC like have a lot of those like paired off characters who are basically the one, but in a different universe. You know,
sure.
It's very probable. I don't know like much about the way that they depicted the Ulysses Bloodstone in this is not very Constantine like, but I could see, yeah, they may be like trying to make Elsa that kind of a character. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like they're mirror versions of each other. Your Tony Starks, your Bruce Waynes.
Right.
No, but I mean, just going back to the story itself, like I really loved how like clean it was. And I don't know, like I know we were talking a lot about how like it harkens to like old Hollywood, but like it also feels like an episode of Angel or something very Whedonverse in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Where like they basically just like introduce like a team full of like badasses, and like their objective is to hunt like Angel, or like Angel's a part of the team and they all have to hunt something. And like the whole point is just like watching like our protagonist just kick a bunch of ass, and like the like flimsiest of reasons for it too, where it's just like, it always makes me so like, it's one of my favorite like little mini subgenres within like action movies or like action genre, like action plus whatever genre type movies, where it's like all right, we all got to go to this funeral where the guy's dying wish is that the rest of us mostly die too. Like, that's just always so funny to me. You know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like it's bad enough we got to go mourn like our fallen comrade. Like statistically, like half or more of us will die on this like hunt that we're doing to like celebrate his life.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like that a lot too. I almost was going to say there's not a lot of exposition, but there actually is, but it's done in a way that feels like really breezy and quick. You know, it's like it gets out of the way quick, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like when they get into the action of it all, which like I am glad that we took like such a long time in the beginning and like just like set the mood and made it this creepy aura, and then we
Mhm.
have the amazing phonograph recorded corpse telling everybody
Yeah.
like his like wishes and stuff like that, and that stupid joke at the end about what is like
Well,
the
I'm rotting for you.
oh my god,
Graveyard humor.
I
So
watched that
funny.
and was like, "This is for Joe. Like, this
Oh
is for
yeah,
the Joes of the
absolutely.
world."
That was
So
so good.
all of that was amazing, and it did such a good job of like subverting whatever like expectations you had, so that when they do get into the action, and when Jovan, the like, I don't even know what you call him, like he's like a like Norse Witcher type dude, and he just starts coming in heavy with that axe to take out Elsa, and it's all just so cool and exciting. And I don't know, it just like I was with it the whole way. It was so fun, and like getting to rewatch it and knowing what was coming. Like even times when before when I was like, okay, where is this going? Now that I knew where it was going, it moved so much quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I only watched it the one time, but I feel like I really want to rewatch it already. It's great. I love that. So you're mentioning that opening scene where they all kind of come into the chamber. That's really cool to see the trophy heads like all around the room.
Oh yeah.
Because like the visual effects scene, like I mean, we'll get into it, but like a whole crap ton of this is practical, which is super cool to see compared to like lots of Marvel stuff, which isn't always practical, a lot of CGI based stuff. But they created all of those, like, I mean, as you could tell, like they're all created like physical pieces that they put up there. So they had to kind of create these different kinds of creatures and monsters to just make for a trophy room, you know? And actually I got a list of like, in a sense, if we're going off like this is MCU canon, like it's canonizing a whole bunch of creatures in the Marvel world. Like, I mean, of course, werewolves we get, but like Bigfoot, Sasquatch is like canon. A bat like vampires, two-headed mermaids, a demon, reptilians, gremlins, like
I mean,
all
I
all
guess this is
canon.
the first time like they're like pointing at it like point blank it's canon,
Yeah.
but I don't know about you, but like I feel like Doctor Strange and more so Doctor Strange 2 and to an extent WandaVision really opened the door to like, okay, everything's game now in my
Oh,
mind.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
You know?
This is just like showing you firsthand it now, you know?
Yeah, no, I do
Yeah.
like it. And I mean, there's been like sly references to vampires and stuff in other productions now. So it feels like they're really just keying us up for what like the next phase is really going to look like. And it's going to be like so much more niche. And like, to me, the optimistic side of me at least says like, oh, this is going to make for like way more original and fresh stories.
Yeah. Same. Feel the same way.
Man,
What'd you think about the black and white choice?
I loved it, honestly. I think it really just helped you forget the Marvel of it all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think a big part of like at least the Marvel look that can kind of make you glaze over if you've seen too many of them, which at this point you either have or you haven't seen any.
hmm
Um, I think for me at least, like the polish of like your typical Marvel production makes me take their cinematography choices a little less seriously at times. It all just feels a little too like showroom of like a Lamborghini dealership at times.
Yeah.
And so just going with like this like gritty black and white grainy texture, it really just made so many of the scenes in it stand out even more so. I mean, namely my favorite scenes are all from like the werewolf transformation into that like amazing third act. um I would say like the two that really stick out to me are the actual transformation when Jack is transforming and we see it entirely from the perspective of the shadows lighting up behind Elsa in the cage. That was an amazing choice. It like sucked me in even the second time. Like I just found myself engrossed by it. I was watching it with a couple friends and they were also just like captivated by it. It was so great. And then the one that I really loved was when he's in that little like hallway entrance, with like that metal door that's like slowly closing, and he's fully werewolfed out. Jack is werewolfed out, and he's just like leaping from wall to wall, just like tearing these guys limb from limb. And it's so graphic, and it's just like the crunches and all of it just is so visceral and still just looks like such an accomplishment on a stunt work level. And it all is accentuated by like this black and white texture, and it doesn't like read visually as graphic as it could have if they had made it in color, obviously, which I think is another like clever sidestep of what could only be Marvel standards and practices would have stepped in if it was like a fully like red painted room and like organs everywhere. So I think they very like delicately and elegantly sidestepped all of that with that choice.
Yeah, 100% agreed. I think I think you're onto something. I read somewhere that they were able to get away with showing so much more like blood and violent scenes being black and white, so they didn't have to like worry about a different kind of. I think it was a TVMA rating at that point they were trying to avoid instead of an R. But
No, that makes sense.
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, it's just interesting to think about like how like the considerations of like making something black and white. Like you think about lighting and think about the way things look, right? Like I read Giacchino in an interview I read from him. He's talked about having a black and white monitor, so when they were shooting, he would reference that and make sure like, does this look good in black and white? Like, does this work? So they just they were like thinking about that process the whole way through.
Wow. No, just let's just give a moment of praise to Giacchino here, because as far as I know, he's the first composer turned director in the MCU. So really, like speaking of pioneering or trailblazing, this guy is really, really like coming out swinging for the fences with this. I was so impressed. What did you think of his work?
Phenomenal. I loved it. Like he's obviously like a fan of this style of like a monster, like classic monster movies, and it shows. Like he's doing like he's directing this like somebody who's like, this is my shot to do this. Like I mean, he's certainly not like a nobody who's given a shot out of nothing. Like he's a very very accomplished composer, of course, but like he's coming in hot, and it shows. Like there's a lot of cool shots, a lot of cool things that he's doing, like techniques. Like yeah, I'm very excited to see what he does next.
I cannot wait. And honestly, the whole time I was watching I just kept slapping my head going like, yeah, why are we not letting like more like department heads like take the helm of a movie, like these people who are routinely in like very crucial creative meetings and are seeing like thought processes and understand like how styles and are clearly like artistically like pretty gifted themselves in their own right. Like, why are we not giving more of them like shots? Like, I want to see what kind of movie the head wardrobe person on Black Panther could make. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
was, in the same way I was impressed by Giacchino scores in previous Marvel movies, I was very impressed by the wardrobe in that movie. And now I'm just like, what else do you have like just holstered there that you could just like whip out if you got the keys to the whole like kingdom?
Yeah, for sure. And I want to echo like what you said too about like the werewolf transformation scene being such like a cool like technique and way to do it. Like we've seen so many werewolf transformations throughout history and like movies and everything, and the choice to just like not show it is bold, but also just really smart too, because you don't really want like you don't want to be compared to like American Werewolf in London or some of the greats, and you don't want to be like like compared to some of the CGI werewolf transformations of the 90s that just look silly and bad. So like by focusing on her reaction and the shadows that are cast, like you just create so much more of like a sense of tension and dread really in the room. Like that, just like zooming in on like Elsa's reactions and the shadows, like it adds so much more to that scene.
It was amazing and it was picturesque. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just like that shot of Elsa's face is like so engrossing, and it really just like puts you in her position of like she's already like resigned herself to, well, he's going to turn into a werewolf and eat me because I'm the only thing in this cage with him. And now that it's actually happening, it doesn't make it any less terrifying.
Yeah.
And
No, it's so good. Yeah, it's like you were saying, I think in one of the previous episodes, like when you think about like a cinematography or a shot, like what would make a good poster in your room? Like I almost feel like the shot of her like holding her arm up and the werewolf shadow like finally there, like that's a good poster.
Yes,
Yeah.
so good. Just such a striking visual. And I mean, like speaking of which, like the cinematography throughout did not disappoint. There were so many just like amazing shots. I want to give a special shout out to the flaming tuba in
Yes.
the opening processions. That was amazing. It felt very like Mad Max Fury Road, you know?
Hmm.
Just like that little embellishment of like there are just traditions and little customs that we're not going to have time to directly address, so you're just going to have to roll with it. Flaming tuba being one of them.
Flaming tuba. I love it.
Yeah, that just oh man, I was watching it with Eric actually, and he just busted out laughing at that. It was well received in our house.
Yes, I'm sure it is across the board.
Yeah, so I do got to ask though, in that third act, like these people are all supposed to be like expert monster hunters, you know, like they all have like crazy kill counts, you know, and I'm just wondering, did none of them like question the integrity of the onion shaped cage that they put the guy who was about to be turned into a werewolf into? Because he seemed to have zero problem busting out of that. And I don't get it. I don't, can you please help me out here, Joe? Am I missing something?
Uh, no, maybe the only thing. I mean, the monster hunters are probably like along for the ride in a sense. Like my only thing, maybe Verusa, right? The widow of Ulysses. Like she's not a
Yeah.
monster hunter. She's just there. Like she's not a hunter herself, right? She's not participating in anything. Like she's just kind of like facilitating. And so then maybe they're like, well, hopefully this facilitator has things figured it out, you know. But she obviously
Sure,
didn't.
but I, that just seems like the kind of thing. I don't know, man. Like if you're like the guards there or any of the surviving hunters, which at that point I think there really only was like one hunter left anyway.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't know, man. That just seemed like you're putting a lot of trust on this cage before you, for absolutely no reason other than like a taste of irony, I guess, you're going to turn him into a werewolf. Like it was all your choice. You know what I mean? The cage sufficed before you made him impossible to cage.
Yeah. No,
Uh
I'm with you. I was just trying to think of maybe something they could be thinking about, but yeah, no, you're right. It's a silly
No.
thing.
And I mean, it's a nitpick. Like it had to go down the way it did. One, because it's like it's supposed to kind of underscore how powerful Jack really is. You know, when they tee it up with how he has 100 kills, and now you're understanding why. Like I get it, and it had to go down the way it did because it's an awesome ending. So like in the same way that I did the Prey episode and like found like one tiny nitpick and something that I really truly did enjoy. I'm just throwing it out there as just like that was a chin scratcher for me.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So,
Did you have who was your favorite red shirt?
my favorite red shirt of the
Yeah.
hunters that died.
Yeah. You know, for me, it was like the less description we got, the more like red shirty they got. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Where it's like eventually you get to like, I'm looking at IMDb, otherwise I would not know their names. But like when you get to Leorn and Barrasso, it's just like, oh, okay, so you guys are dead.
Yo, Barrasso lasted towards the end there.
What do you mean? Oh, I guess, but like only by virtue of like they were doing the kill them one by one thing, you know? It
Yeah.
wasn't like any kind of like savvy on Barasso's part. He was just like
Azariel was the last one to go, right? Of the hunters.
Azariel. Yeah, so like Jovan and Azariel. So like Azariel's like the David Bowie type,
Yeah.
and Jovan is like Norse Watcher. And
Witcher.
or I guess or Witcher, sorry.
Watcher.
Not even Norse, like I guess Scottish. He's
Yeah,
doing
he's
a
very
lot of like
Scottish. So
yeah.
Kirk Thatcher, Jovan, right?
Yeah.
The actor. You might not appreciate this, but Punk on the Bus from the Star Trek 4.
Yep, I do
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. He's an icon in Star Trek fandom. So
So they were on a
shut.
bus at one point, and he was on it.
He plays this like boombox on a bus, and when they go back in time and the whales save the whales, and then Kirk's like turn it down, and then Spock like gives him the net nerve pinch, and then everyone on the bus cheers.
I vaguely remember you mentioning something about the bus guy
Yeah,
in the boombox about something
because
else.
he comes back in Star Trek Picard season 2 for a cameo too.
That's
So
it.
yep,
Yep, that was it.
yep, that was
Okay,
it. Yeah.
well,
So same guy.
yeah. So those are the two that are like we're supposed to care about in terms of like the pack of hunters, other than Jack and Elsa. And then the rest are literally just there to show how badass Elsa is and how she just dispatches them with no problem.
Yeah. So yeah, they're Barrasso and Leorn. Leorn was the guy. He had the cool like hand shooting things, and then she cut off his hand.
Yeah, which I don't know, man. Like I feel like with like these like old timey like we're gilded warriors fighting like monsters and stuff, and it's just like not one of you could have a gun. Blade has a gun.
It's a good point, actually. Maybe that's
It,
part of the ritual. I don't know. I didn't say it.
it's just like I don't know. The second she gets that wrist projectile, like she becomes like what, like the second deadliest person in the pack, just because by virtue of having a projectile weapon.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. It's not for me to tell people how to hunt monsters. Lord knows I could be missing some crucial points.
You most likely are.
I mean, not most likely. I know something.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. I mean, I guess you
Yeah,
have to determine whether or not you're going to fight or flirt with them every episode. So
exactly. So I'm basically a monster hunter or lover.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I would say I'm very excited to see like if they continue the story, like the adventures of, Jack and his buddy Ted, like what they get into. But I'm actually more excited to see like what Elsa Bloodstone gets up to with the Bloodstone, moving forward.
Oh, she's definitely the character to follow. No offense to Jack
Yeah.
Russell or anything, but it's like you kind of get his whole deal,
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, him and Ted are like whatever like cohort of like monsters that are actually good at their heart. Like they just try to stay out of people's trouble. Every once in a while, one of them gets like caught in shenanigans, and then they all like jump to the rescue. Something I don't know. I get it. But yeah, Elsa's definitely the one with like like I want to see like your Batman the animated series adventures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Her monster hunting adventures.
Yeah, 100%.
That'd be fun. Should we monster it up?
Let's monster.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got Jack Russell, right? Werewolf by
Yep.
Night, monster hunter who's been afflicted with a curse that turns him into a werewolf. Interesting things about the way that we see the werewolf in this. So Giacchino, I have a quote from him. I read this interesting interview with him. He talks all about his decisions he made in like depicting monsters. He says, quote, "I wanted to make sure you could see the face because that's the human part of it, the eyes and his facial features. I didn't want to lose that. So we didn't want him to be full on animalistic because he wanted to pay homage to those like classic Universal movies where like a bunch of those kind of stories are rooted in like the human element of the monster, right? Like the Wolfman, like even Dracula, like Frankenstein, like the human element of that. Like, so they wanted to like still tie into like what that is. And like, that's why we have that kind of powerful scene of like them locking eyes there too. So he like made that a big point. He also says, quote, "A CG werewolf has been done and done great, but I didn't think we were going to improve on what has been done. And I wanted something real that was in front of us. It's already enough to ask for someone to believe werewolves are real, but I felt like we would have a better chance of pulling it off if it actually was a real person on set in the costume." So there was a strong commitment to like making it all practical and like putting the makeup on, which I thought was pretty cool.
I mean, I already said it, but that was the best choice. Like the practical effects and everything just really made it for me, especially with the fight scenes. It's very,
Yeah.
you can just, when you're just more impressed at the end of the day when like everybody's in the room doing like this like intense choreography.
Yeah. So there was a whole bunch of different like VFX companies that were involved. And of course there was CGI touch-ups and like CGI elements that you can see. But Giacchino was very like adamant on like starting out like he said like where the werewolf has to be practical. Let's build an actual man thing suit. Let's see how far we can get with those kinds of things. And so like I think K&B is one of the studios that did it. We've talked about them in the past, and they're the ones who built this like life size like the man thing Ted suit, which was completely animatronic, and the eyes glowed red, and the hands were like motorized. So like they were able to like have this like fully practical like creature on set, like that they were able to talk to, which was pretty cool there.
Yeah. No, I mean, the creature effects on Ted were amazing. Like, I love just like that weird, like, dreadlock style almost like just hanging off, drooping off him. Like he almost looks like a melted candle at times, and the way that the only thing in color is like the bloodstone that's just like wedged in his back. And
Yeah.
like there's like there's something that's like so telling about even that, of just like this like thing that's just like infiltrated him, and how like just helpless he looks at times, which is impressive when you're also looking at this like terrifying 9-foot monster.
Who can kill super easily.
Which, yeah, I was not expecting it the first time.
Right?
When he did it to Javon, like, that was insane. I was just like, did he need that? Like, he's already so powerful, and he has this, like, haunting, like, turn you into cinders power.
Yeah. I loved it.
Oh my gosh. I don't even like is there a species of him or no? Yeah, you said he's an experiment gone wrong.
I'm,
Thank God.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Man Thing was it's Man Thing. He's just like, it's just one. Yeah, there's not multiple.
I wonder if like they added that later on or that was always like his power. It was just like, yeah, he's a swamp thing, but he can also just like turn you into ash.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
It was
Um,
sick. It was sick,
yeah,
and it was like I probably again another good like standards and practices sidestep of like like you can't just like show this guy like just
tearing people apart.
decimating people. Yeah, how
Yeah,
he would do it otherwise.
yeah, that's smart actually.
Yeah,
There was it. So it wasn't animatronic, but there was a dude wearing the Man Thing suit, and it was the guy's name was Kerry Jones, who was a special effects makeup supervisor for the film. There were CGI touch-ups, of course, to the face, like I mentioned, and some things like when he was like moving. But yeah, it was a dude wearing a suit and a giant animatronic, which is pretty cool.
any relation to Dougie?
I don't think so, but that would be cool if there was.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, that's there's with Marvel, you have a whole bunch of, like I said, a whole bunch of different companies working together. So I don't have a whole lot of specifics, but one of the uh, uh, VFX artists, actually, his name is Howard Berger, I think it is his name. Yeah, Howard Berger. He posted on his Instagram feed like some behind the scenes pictures of making this, just like putting the Man Thing together, like putting the makeup on Jack for the werewolf costume, making the heads that were in like that those opening shots. And so I'll link to those photos, but it's kind of cool to just to see like the makeup work that's being done like behind the scenes, and like the craftsmanship that goes into like all of that, the artistry. So yeah, it's definitely was done by like a crew that had a lot of fun making like monster stuff.
Man, this whole thing must have been so fun to shoot.
Oh, I'm sure.
My favorite thing was like there was just like a moment there where the Jack as Wolfman is just like full Chewbaccaing these like guards. You know, like that's
Yeah.
all I could see was like Chewbacca. I just kept waiting for like the little like I don't even know the trill noise he makes or whatever, and just like because yeah, he's just like swatting them like they're nothing, and it was so funny.
Yeah, no, I agree. Speaking of swatting things like they're nothing, Khalid,
Yeah,
that's a thing that bears will often do to bees when they're going for honey.
I was right up there with you up until the bees honey part. You could have just said they swat things away like they're nothing because they're big.
And that's a segue to the four bears test.
It is. All right. All right. Not your worst attempt. I'll give you that.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah. So wait, which beast am I doing? Ted or Wolfman?
This is your thing, Khalid. You got to figure it out.
Man, you are just never a life raft around with you. Okay, so the four bears test is basically what it sounds like, but also kind of not. Basically, I just asked this like dumb, fun thought experiment thing of what would happen if you replace the monster in question with four bears? Does it change the story at all? And I don't know. It's just a fun, dumb thing I do. So come along for the ride, folks. For this one, I guess I will go with the werewolf because it is called Werewolf by Night. And that is kind of the monster that like steals the show. No offense to Ted, he had some great moments, but Wolfman was just putting up points all night. You can't do nothing against that. So yeah, with the werewolf, as far as the four bears test, it's interesting because like it's come up a few times now, but like we're talking about like a group of people that like ostensibly could handle bears because they fight monsters all the time, and monsters usually like are smarter. They have magic, as we've seen with Ted, and like all these other elements that should make a bear not a problem for them. But they also don't like question the integrity of their onion shaped cages. So I guess like I'm just at a loss for like what they're actually prepared for truly. Cause like I'll be honest, I don't think any of the other hunters outside of Elsa and Jack had a chance against Ted, even with like like help from them. So like, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna say that four bears would easily bust out of that cage if they were like in a concerted effort to. And I mean, does the bloodstone work against just regular animals? Or is it like the kind of thing where it only works against monsters?
It only works
Because
against monsters. That's how they knew that Jack was a monster.
Okay, so then yeah, the one thing that they even have, because they insist on not bringing guns to fight beasts, is like handheld weapons and tasers and stuff, and they just they weren't expecting a jailbreak, so the element of surprise is entirely on the bear side. So, you know what? Yeah, I am pretty confident in saying for the first time in a while that this passes the four bears test.
Damn. Werewolf by Night passes 4 bears test.
I don't like Elsa's chances just because I don't think that the bears are going to care that she looks them in the eyes or they have her scent.
Yeah.
That's really the bear's call. Maybe one bear, but four, that seems unlikely. So Elsa's probably not making it out of that version. But I do think for the most part, the third act would have gone the same.
I also think that if you go the other way of it, like where you replace Ted with the 4 bears, like the competition kind of stays the same. Like, what if we just release 4 bears into this maze and you have to hunt them down? Like that also is a equally scary competition.
Oh yeah, in a maze, bears are so fast. Like as soon as it's like barreling down on you, and all you have are these narrow pathways, that you're so boned.
Especially if you find a dead end,
Yeah, like
you're
I mean,
screwed.
yeah, like you got to be like looking for like the high ground and shit, and you just got to like stay away because in the maze, it's the bears game.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think that. So I think it passes on both fronts then, right? Would you say?
More or less. I mean, I think it passes more than most other movies we've talked about just by virtue of like the location and the aforementioned lack of preparedness on their part.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And speaking of virtue, Khalid,
Speaking of,
let's discuss your virtue in Would You Fight or Would You Flirt with the monsters in question?
well, I don't want to like jump the gun here or anything like that. And obviously, of course, fight or flirt is what it sounds like. I talk about whether or not I would fight or flirt with the monster, depending on what I know of it. Um, I don't want to jump the gun or anything, but the movie or the special event, sorry, kind of gives the answer away. You know, like the whole thing is like finding the compassion in these beasts. That's what saves Elsa both times, you know?
Yeah.
With Ted, Jack is like, you have to like call him Ted and be like nice to him and all that stuff. And then later on, he's like, look me in the eyes and like, that'll like get to me, like the core of who I am, and I will like give you mercy. So, you know, like it's hard to argue with like the straight up text of the movie telling me exactly what I need to do to survive, because at no point does it give any option other than like if you're lucky enough to like get a kill shot with the bloodstone, like it gives you no other option to survive it. So I have to flirt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
Um,
I think that's great. I was with you. I was like, but you have thrown some curveballs at me and surprised me. But I think that you have to go with flirt here.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they went through such great lengths to show like how cool Ted is, and Jack seems like a pretty chill guy, like 29 days out of the month.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're giving me a lot of leeway in terms of like finding something I can like hang on to relationship wise. Like Ted seems like as soon as I learn his weird language, like we're gonna hit it off. He seems funny.
Yeah, big softy too.
Yeah, and you know, like they're going on adventures, jailbreaks, and stuff like that. We could be like a monster A team. I'll be Mr.
Yeah.
T.
I think in the comics it's called the League of Monsters or the Legion of Monsters. Like
No,
there's
I like Monster A team better.
I mean it's your thing is better. Yeah. But
Thank
that's
you.
what they are in the comics.
We're all just driving in a van.
Yeah. Driving in a van. Play the A-Team theme song.
Something like that.
I think that was yep. Yep, that was exactly it, Khalid.
Yep, don't nobody call me on it.
Yeah. Anyway, that was good. A little bit shorter episode for you guys, listeners here. I know it's a shorter like property that we end up reviewing, but I think that was a fun conversation about it.
Super fun if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Should we move into our final segment of the show?
Let's do it.
Our final segment is called What the
Jeez,
Fandom?
thought I was a sick one.
No, it's part of the bit now. But
Fair.
what the fandom segment of the show is where we each share 1 to 2 to maybe 3, I guess, Khalid, things that we are into, that we're listening to, watching, reading, what have you that we think you guys might enjoy. Khalid, what the fandom with you?
My what the fandom is actually going to be a movie that I threw on right before my rewatch of Werewolf by Night.
Ooh.
It's a 2021 film called Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon. I was just
Oh, I really want to see that. I
it's
saw the trailer recently.
Oh, buddy, the trailer is what sucked me in. Sometimes I like to do what I call like Amazon Prime roulette, where like I'll just go through and be like, all right, let's see what in the depths of Amazon I'll find. And this came up in one of their new releases sections, and it's amazing. It's directed by Anna Lily Amirpour, who directed this amazing. I believe it's Iranian. It was an Iranian black and white film years ago called "A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night." Which
Great movie.
that's also a great movie. I 110% recommend it. It's just like an Iranian vampire movie, guys. That's all you need. That's the sale. So with this follow up, or I believe she's done something in between, but this movie she's made since then, Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon, it's so great. Like without giving too much of it away, like it really just feels like a campy like 80s horror movie by way of Sean Baker, who did like Tangerine and Florida Project and recently
Oh,
Red
yeah.
Rocket. There's just like this like Sean Baker, Harmony Korine kind of like grittiness to it, you know, where like it's so much about like highlighting like the quote unquote like underworld of a town and like giving the humanity to those characters. But then amidst all of that is like this gonzo awesome, like supernatural sci-fi genre plot that at no point do they feel like they're clashing. And it leads to a very exciting finale. And yeah, man, like when we talk about cinematography and like the best shots are the ones that could be posters in your wall, like A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night had a bunch of them, and Mona Lisa and the Blood Moon carries on that tradition. It's just so many just striking visuals, and you really just like it's set in New Orleans, and you really just get like a feel of the type of New Orleans that the director is trying to show us. And yeah, just go ahead and check it out. As of this recording, it's available to rent on Amazon Prime. If there's other ways to check it out, we'll throw it into the footnotes. But yeah, that is my What the Fandom this week. My only one, Joe.
Wow. Yeah, saucy. It's got
Yeah.
a good cast though, right? Too.
Really great cast. It's got Kate Hudson, Craig Robinson, Ed Skrein plays a very interesting character, which I only knew him as the bad guy from the first Deadpool, where he's like a smarmy, like British dude. So like to see him in this character was very illuminating. And then Jian Zhang Seo plays the lead character, Mona Lisa, and she is awesome. I think she's been in some other stuff that I just haven't had the chance to check out, but I am officially counting myself a fan of hers.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to check that one out.
Yeah, man, definitely check it out. I think you're gonna get a kick out of it. And Joe, what the fandom with you?
Thanks, Khalid. Your throat clearing was not as intense as mine.
If I do too intense of a fake throat clearing, it's gonna turn into a real cough.
I mean, that's commitment though.
Yeah, I guess I'm just my heart's not in it. I don't know what to tell you.
That's fair. Anyway, thanks for asking, Khalid.
Yeah.
My what the fandom this week. I'm gonna carry the theme of the spooky things since it's October and spooky month. But I am going to recommend another book. I've recommended this author on multiple occasions, but I'm reading a new book by her. It's The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, which is a pseudonym for Ursula Vernon. I recommended some of her fantasy work before, and one of her other horror novels called The Twisted Ones in the past. And her horror work is really interesting because she's playing in that kind of sandbox of like cosmic horror, like Lovecraft style stuff, but takes it into this like more modern setting. And she has characters usually as like female protagonists that definitely have this kind of like snarky, humorous attitude in it. So it's a really interesting like pairing with that kind of like existential dread and just like somebody who like kind of cracks like jokes here and there. And they never feel like off-putting or cringy. They always feel like kind of like how you would cope with a situation like that. But The Hollow Places is really cool. Like the Twisted Ones before it, it's an update on a classic short story from that genre. And in this case it's an update on an old story called The Willows by Algernon Blackwood. And Oh, it's such an interesting, unique story, but it follows the main character, Kara, who reeling from like a divorce, comes down to North Carolina to help her uncle run this like really obscure like pseudo Ripley's Believe It or Not museum. The uncle gets sick, and so she has to be in charge of it, and she finds this strange hole in the wall, and the hole ultimately leads to this like other dimension, other world with like kinds of incomprehensible like entities that do like awful things to whoever finds themselves coming into that realm. And like the planes shift and like things aren't quite as they seem, so if they explore a little bit, they're like, we don't know where we came from. So there's a lot of like just really interesting like concepts. It paints a really cool picture of the world. It's just like, as a horror work, it's really well done and effectively scary, but there are also times where I found myself like actually like giggling and laughing at some of the things that the characters say and how they react to a situation. But for my like October spooky read, like I am absolutely loving it. I'm just like plowing through it. Like I don't have a whole lot of time to sit down and read, but whenever I can, I'm pulling it out. I'm really enjoying it. So if you like kind of scary like cosmic horror books, like definitely check out The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I am almost done with it. I would say not quite, maybe over 3/4 the way done, but I am very excited about it at this point. So that is mine for this week.
Nice. Well, you guys got a lot to chew on from both of us.
Yeah.
Give it a read, give it a watch when you can. And thank you for listening to our fun discussion of Werewolf by Night. I know I enjoyed it and enjoyed talking about it. I hope you did, Joe.
Khalid, can I say a few things before you sign us off?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. This is off script, y'all. I have no
Off
idea what's
script.
coming.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put that out there. All right, Joe, you have the floor.
All right. Thanks, Khalid. I just wanted to say, if I hadn't gotten a chance to say this before, but like, welcome to any new listeners. We've had a big uptick in listeners. For some reason, our episodes on Predator and Prey, both respectively, are very popular with people. So people have been finding us through those, and I hope whoever finds us through those have been like sticking around and checking out other episodes. So if you're one of those new folks who just recently found us, welcome. And I also just wanted to say it's been a lot of fun, Khalid. We've had a few episodes in a row that you and I have been just doing together. But for those of you who've been wondering, like, if we're having any guests coming back on, definitely keep an eye out for episodes coming out in the next several weeks and next couple months. I've been working hard and lining up some really fun and interesting guests to come back and to have for the first time, and some fun projects to really discuss. So I think the coming months of Frankenstein's podcast are going to be really really fun.
We got some goodies coming up, folks.
Yeah.
I can co-sign that. Joe has been working hard.
So that's all, Khalid. Just wanted to say excited and welcome.
Yeah, welcome. I also want to say that as well. It's cool, and we have a fun time talking on here, so I hope you guys are enjoying what we put out there. And yes, welcome to all the newbies. You're in for a lot of just groan-worthy jokes from Joe. Yeah, but with all that being said, thank you for listening, and until next time, creep it easy.